Yes.
I missed it too.
Oh no. I was
Uh,
like wondering if maybe there's like a retest now for a possible re-entry, but it's looking really nice right now. I'm
You could
trying to journal
absolutely
it
get it.
before. Yeah.
I could definitely see us retesting 1800 because what we keep doing is we keep retesting it. We keep coming back to that level. So let's see if maybe, we just got a bearish close on the 4 hour. Let's see if we get some kind of a support formed anywhere in this area right here.
Right.
Right? If we get some kind of a support formed in here, you know that you got a clean move to the left that we could come right back up to 1830. All right, so just wait for that. If you don't get it and you get some kind of a support formed up here, let's see what kind of price action it is. Here you go. You got a 1 hour close over here, maybe 1 hour rejection to this area over here. So could you take with a clean move to the left? What are the chances that we come up and retest this high up here?
Right.
All right, so just wait for that close. Let's see what the 30-minute looks like. Okay, 30-minute is holding support right now. So what are the chances we come back up to this resistance up here after holding support? Right in here.
You wouldn't necessarily see that as a retest, would you? Because I'm looking at it in the 1 hour and it's looking like it could be a retest, but yet again, it could do anything.
So we had a couple of different rejections up here. 1810, right? Psychological level.
Right.
I'm trying to look to the left to see what we have over here. Last time we were in this area. Get this tank right over here as well. So right now what I'm looking at is could we be getting ahead of previous support right here? Let's see what kind of price action we have. It's kind of messy right now. Like it's kind of ranging a little bit. But could you get a retest of this area to continue right back down? And then you get a better buy from this area that I was just talking about. Like this, is this a setup that you normally look for?
Half. Just like doing trying to follow just like the basic retest. I was trying mostly to do it because it was Asian time, and I've noticed Sharma trades a lot during Asian time, and she's been kind of mentioning how she looks for like full body retests around Asian time on gold sometimes.
Yes.
So I was just kind of trying to like mimic that, and it was making sense.
Yeah, that's a big deal during Asian, and it's hard to do because really, I mean, you're seeing setups that you normally do during New York, but you got to understand that the volume isn't always there, and that's what we were talking about yesterday. So just understanding that and just waiting for the candles to close, you're going to be in a much better spot. You're going to be taking less trades, but guess what? You're going to be losing less trades too, and that's where you want to be as a trader. We got Jody in here. What's up, brother?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, man. Nice to have you on here again.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah.
Haven't been feeling too good lately. I think I got the COVID. And
you got the vid?
Sure. Yeah. But I'm doing better.
Oh, 1 sec. Wow, that was hot. So how are you feeling from it?
Just it's like I feel it in my chest a little bit, but I can still breathe. Seem pretty good, and I just like a pounding headache, and just my chest hurts, my lower back kind of hurts, and just a little bit achy. It's really nothing more than a cold.
Yeah. When I had it back in late August, early September, I remember the onset of it was just a terrible headache for like 3 days, and then it went away. Food started to taste weird, and then I lost the taste. But the main thing was I was so fatigued, it's not even funny. Like we would be doing these lectures, and I didn't even know I had COVID at the time. I would be doing these lectures, and as soon as I'm done, I would just crash. I would lay in bed for a second, and I'd be out. I never take naps during the day. I had so much fatigue, it's not even funny. I was not used to that. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've pretty much lost my appetite.
Yeah. Yeah. I lost 9 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you do, don't stop eating. Like you need to keep, that nutrition level up.
Yeah. No, of
Yeah.
course.
Like you need to force yourself.
My
Yeah,
main
yeah.
thing was like you can't taste anything. You have no appetite. It's like, what's the point of eating? And you're trying all these different things, and it's just like there's no point of this. You're not
Right.
even hungry.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah. So we're looking at this over here, and we've been in this little bullish trend over here, kind of holding support, kind of creating these higher lows, but they're really just kind of consolidating. But now we've been pushing up over here, and we finally pushed above 1800 to 1810 now. So we're holding a resistance. Do we have enough volume in the market today to bring price above 1810? I would say so. And why is that? Because we have Powell speaking today. Hold on. Oh yeah. That's. Oh, here it is. Bring this to the other screen. There we go. So Powell is testifying in front of Congress today, and this is because he was reappointed to the Fed, right, as the Fed chair. So Biden appointed him, so now he's got to basically testify in front of Congress to explain his plans and what he plans to do. Obviously, everyone really knows what his plans are as a whole, basically. But this could move the market, right, at 10 a.m. So I would maybe expect maybe a range in here until later during the New York Stock Exchange open. I wouldn't get too jumpy as far as like trying to take a trade in here. Maybe wait for this area to clear to then continue right back up, right? Because you could always get a retest of this area. Let's get our tools out. You could get like a retest of this area. Price ends up reacting to it. And then we continue right back down to 1800, consolidate around 1800, and then we continue up. So I wouldn't get too excited about trading in something like this because it's just sometimes not worth it. I like the support being held right here. We could take a look at all our other time frames too. Let's actually go to the higher time frames because I think we basically just hopped to that lower time frame because of Kat explaining her trade that she wanted to take last night. But the monthly, again, reacting to 1830 over here, the monthly is very bearish, right? Created this bottom wick, but it's got no top wick over here. So could we just be creating, like we're only in the middle of the month over here, right, Kat?
Oh yeah. I swear it
So
feels like the month is ending.
I know. So we ended up coming down into this area to create that bottom wick, and now it looks like we're retracing, right? So it looks like this candle closed a very strong bullish candle with a bottom wick. This candle is creating its bottom wick. Could we be flipping bullish to continue right back up and maybe fill this wick up here, right? Again, 1830, very significant level over there. So we got to watch out for that. Right now, it looks like we're trying to form a higher low from down here, right? We had this support, all these wick rejections. Now it looks like we're trying to create a higher low to continue up. Or what we could be getting is that strong bearish candle over here closed. Could we be getting a top wick formed over here to continue right back down? That's where we go to the lower time frames to see what's happening. So right now, again, we're still holding that higher low, right? We're bouncing off this level that we talked about the other day. Nice demand zone right in here. Price tapping into it multiple times. Right here, rejection right here, and now right over here. So we got a nice little bullish trend going. But right now, this 1810 level is something that we need to pay attention to. All right, because once we break above that, we could be heading right back up. Got a clean range in this move, clean range, clean wick to fill, these candles, These are all clean candles. So like this is really want to say what you want to save all your ammo for, like this range right here. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
I was actually wanting to wait for like a 4-hour close above that 1810, maybe a 1 hour, but I don't know about a 1 hour close. I think I may be more comfortable with a 4. I may miss it, but if I see a 4-hour close above 1810,
Yeah.
I think it'll push around that 10, that 9 to 10.
I feel like we're due for some kind of a pullback over here because as you can see right here, last time we were in this range right here, or last time we were retapping into like 17, I would say 1787, somewhere around here. Last time we were over here, we ended up making a strong push up, but guess what? We made a strong push up right back
And
up
that
to this
pull right
1810
back.
level. And then we got that rejection.
Yeah.
Right. So could we be getting some kind of a rejection over here, at least to this level, to then continue right back up?
That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. I could definitely see that too. So again, the current range and the lower time frames that we're in, I would just be very careful with that, especially before Powell testifying. You already got a 4-hour close right over here.
I'm almost personally wanting to wait until Asian, like looking at the 4 hours specifically.
Okay.
It just feels like it needs a lot more of a pullback, like how you guys are saying.
Asian
But
or
looking
New
at
York Stock Exchange open or New York open?
Asian,
Okay. So you think you saying like during Asian we'll already have like some kind of a support over here to continue up?
possibly. Like I've
Okay.
been starting to notice that gold during Asian for some like proper retest, like swing potential moves might be, I don't know, more likely. I'm not saying it's unlikely during New York. But yeah, I'm just wondering if we can really pass to those highs anytime in the next 4 hours. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it. I mean, the hour's going to close in 2 minutes, so we'll check out the hourly in a second. But again, like I said, we just got that 4-hour close. This candle closed with no top wick, right? This candle pushed up, probably passed the high of it right away, and then flipped bearish to close bearish. This candle already created a top wick and passed the low of that candle right there. So again, this level, we got to see what's going on over here. Could we be pulling back here, maybe even over here to then continue up? But if we break below 1800, I could see us coming right back down here. Let's see the 1 hour. So the 1 hour so far is trying to hold a support over here, but it's getting weaker. This 1 hour candle is getting weaker. So again, we were tapping into this level, this whole thing right here. You could see all these wicks. I don't like drawing my zones like that, but see all these wicks in this whole area between 1808 and 1807. Price keeps rejecting. So let's take a look at the 30-minute over here again. So we ended up pushing up into this level again, and now we're starting to reject, but we're still holding this support, right? Again, no trade range. Right in here. Just want to keep going to these other time frames. I would be interested to see if we get a 1 hour close here. This candle creates a bottom wick and then passes the high up there. That would be a very high risk, high reward buy. But as you can see, we're creating that higher low over here. Could we be taking that to continue back up? I personally don't think I'm going to take that. I'd rather wait for this break up because again, this is your trading range. All of this. You got such clean moves to the left over there. It's not really worth trying to get the best possible price down in here. You might as well just get this because guess what? How many pips do you have up here? 100, almost 200 pips right here that you could be catching. All right, so just stay patient. We know that 1830 is a significant level that we could be coming up into. So, why not just wait for that and just have your conditions and stick to it. Good morning, Tiff.
Good morning, Steph.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Let's we were actually just breaking down gold, but let's get into GJ over here. So actually, let's get rid of this. So the monthly on GJ is looking pretty good over here, right? It's as you can see, we just had a following to the ultimate bearish candle over here. We increased rates and we ended up basically correcting that whole move, which was the correction from the sentiment move that brought price all the way up to 158. So this move brought us up to 158 because we thought that the Bank of England was going to increase rates. They never increased rates. We correct the whole move. We hold support here. They end up increasing rates in December. A big surprising move, I would say, because they said they weren't going to do it until March. So they ended up doing that. We correct the entire move over here. Now the next monthly candle of January created a bottom wick, already passed the high of that candle. We're only in the middle of the month. So how much farther can this monthly candle go? We get some good volume in here. We get some maybe good retail sales, which I doubt we're gonna, or good GDP, which I doubt we'll get on Friday. But we'll see this thing skyrocket if so, right? Because you got some clean moves over here. You got some area that price could be coming into that we're going to be marking off on the lower time frames. But actually, you know what? I'm going to mark off this 160 level too, because I do like this as a psychological level. Once we broke 156, I think psychologically the next area we want to get to is 160. Plus, if you look to the left, it's definitely a area of interest right here, here, over here as well. Previous resistance. So that's definitely an area that we could be coming up to possibly this month. So that's something I would be looking out for. But looking at the weekly now, the weekly again, we're holding this resistance up here. Could draw that right there on the weekly. We know that, obviously these wicks on the weekly are definitely a resistance on the lower time frame. So that's why I'm putting that there. But it looks like we're getting that little retest over here. Bottom wick formed on the weekly. We're only in the beginning of the week. Could this candle be flipping bullish to continue up, fill that wick, and continue right back up to continue? Continue right back up. And then where you could see most recent resistance to the left is this wick, which is at 160. Right, so can we fill this wick up here? I would say so. We just need some positive things to happen. We need positive economic data to come out, positive news out of Great Britain. Looking at the daily over here, so far we're holding support. Again, after tapping off of 156 again and retesting it. Now, what did I say yesterday? What I was saying was that we could possibly hold a support somewhere at 156, being that it's such a significant level, and then we could continue up. Right now, the daily looks nice. It looks very similar to this price action over here. So we'll see what happens if we actually hold support to continue up. But let's see what we have on the lower time frames, because we just got a very bearish daily candle close right here, right, with a possible wick to fill. But we're tapping off this 10 EMA over here on the daily time frame to continue up. So the 10-day average over here, we're holding as a support. So let's see if we continue to do that. Looking at the 4-hour. So the 4-hour looks nice. And honestly, guys, I feel guilty. I wasn't able to announce this trade yesterday in in Slack because I was on the drive. So I didn't want to be telling you guys how to manage it and all that stuff while I'm on the drive. I was quickly just entering it, exiting it, securing my position, but I was able to grab a good amount of this move over here, and I got stopped at a break even once I moved it to break even over here overnight. So the trade is no longer going, but it was basically a retest of this support that I talked about the other day. Plus, as you can see, we're holding support with this bullish candle right over here at 156, and we closed above the 50 EMA over here. This candle came down to retest it to flip bullish and continue right back up. Also, you got a clean move here. So once you start to clear this area right here, this previous support, right, there's a good possibility that we could continue up to at least create another lower high, right? Another area in here. This. So we got a high created, a lower high created. So could we be getting some kind of another lower high to then continue right back down to retest 156, or continue through it and continue down, right? Or do we just continue right back up? All right, so that's what you're playing. You're playing the scalp to bring us up into a possible area up here, where maybe even retest this high up here to then continue to drive up. Does that make sense? Like, this is solid price action. It's still like a higher time frame range right now is what it looks like. But again, you could play this multiple times if you just know exactly what happens once we reach certain historical levels. And the last time price bounced off of it, you just basically use that history to your advantage. And that's why sticking with one or two pairs is so important. So right now we're in a very bullish trend over here. Is this candle creating its bottom wick to continue bullish? Again, also don't forget the fact, like the fundamentals, the fact that we did increase rates, right? So we actually did that. And the last time we were up in this area too, right over here, we never actually increased rates. So we actually reached 158 flat, 158 200 by not even increasing rates, just by sentiment. So now that they actually increase rates, what are the chances that we break through this level? They're pretty strong. So that's where fundamentals comes in. That's why that's so important to understand what's going on the back end. Why is the pair moving the way it's moving, right? And I like Kat, the way you're trying to get into it and learn more about it. It's super important. It's not a dire necessity, especially if you're really good with technical analysis and they have great trading psychology and you can control your emotions. But having that in the back end just gives you so much more confidence in your trades, knowing that you can hold them longer, knowing that you have the fundamentals behind you. But looking over here now, we may have a trade possibility. They're bouncing off 156. We're in this trend. We're in this little channel over here. We're creating a support right now, so we may be able to get a trade today. Let's see if we hold the support to retest our high up here and continue up. Sorry, making sure my dog is okay. So where is our next area? Obviously to retest this high up here, but we get a clean move right back up into here to retest this resistance. Now, as I was saying, with the higher or the lower highs over here, we could always be coming into this level over here, this previous support as well. So could we be retesting the high and continuing right back up into this area over here? It could possibly happen, but I'm not going to mark that off. What I'm going to mark off is our resistance over here, our most recent resistance. This looks like some pretty good price action right now so far. 30 minutes holding strong over here. That's good. 15 minutes about to close. So we'll see how the 15-minute closes, and then we could possibly enter this. But I like the way this looks right now to continue right back up to this high. Now this is where I like to go down to the lower time frames over here and see how price is bouncing off that level. See, we held a strong support. We get a nice push up, but this 1 minute is rejecting this area. So if you get like a pullback over here, and then the 15-minute ends up closing above or closing a strong bullish candle right over here, like the next candle creates a bottom wick, which will be that pullback on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and then we continue right back up. We start to flip bullish. You could potentially enter that with your stop loss down here. So I want to see what we end up getting. I like how the 4 hour, you know, we're creating that bottom wick, it looks like. Maybe flipping bullish. Today's a high volume day. Today's where you can, you know, if you get that setup that you like, you can risk a little bit more on it. But make sure it's all part of your calculations for your risk management. Like, can you afford to risk 3 or 4%? I wouldn't go really above that, but for some of those entries and some of those setups that you guys like, that's where you kind of can exploit your profits from the previous win. Oh, let me break down that trade that I took yesterday. So I took this as we held support over here. We created this high. So we closed above this level, but we closed right back in it, right? Then once we got this move coming up, closing right above that level, I liked the fact that price was coming. You had a clean move to the left that we could come back at least into this area up here. So what did I do? This candle was holding a support, and I used the lower time frames. I entered somewhere around here. So this was my trade. Let me actually look right here. Six, 5, 6, 5. Oh no, that was the CP. What's the answer? Okay, 5, 4. Okay, there we go. So I ended up entering this with my stop loss below 156,400 over here, right? On the 30-minute, anticipating price to continue to push up here. So once we reach this level, right, price started to push up to this level. We were at 1-to-1, 16 pips. I ended up securing 80%, right? Stop loss went to break even, stopped at a break even. So I was able to grab somewhere around like 21, let me see, 22 pips. So I secured somewhere up here, right? As soon as I was checking it, we were just pushing up over here. We got this pullback overnight. I was asleep at this time. And then we obviously held support and continued right back up. So if I left my stop loss at its original spot, it would have succeeded. But that wasn't what I was trying to do. I was just trying to grab a quick scalp while I was on my drive, and that was it. So let's see how this 15-minute closes. We got about 2 minutes left.
What was your confirmation again for yesterday's entry that you took?
Yes. So as you could see, this support formed, right? Yeah. With this candle. So this is a strong candle closing above these candle bodies over here. And then this candle started to push up. We got that little liquidity grab right there. And then we closed above the resistance right here, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of times what we get is it looks like a fake out over here, but we just get a higher low being created right here. Mm-hmm. So we get this higher low being created and we push up back above even this high up here. So now we're above, I think 156,500 right mm-hmm. here. So let me actually get rid of this one. So now what we have is this high that was just created. We come back down and create another higher low right here. And then as this candle is holding its support right here and starting to push up, what time is this? This is 7:30. So we know we're getting some good volume around this time. Once we start to head up, we're starting to get close to this candle right over here. Once we pass the high of it, that's where I entered.
Oh, that was during Asian time?
This was during Asian, yep.
Got it.
So it was an impulse entry as we passed the high of that candle with a clean move to the left to continue up.
And so it's basically kind of like a retest in a way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was waiting for this retest over here. Sometimes you get that retest back into the range. It doesn't have to be exactly at this level, right? Sometimes you come back and get a deeper liquidity grab, but when you understand the way your pair moves, that's what was happening. And what was happening right here is we were holding support on this 10 EMA too, creating another higher low.
Makes sense.
So now let's see if we get, again, and you see it happening right over here. We're not coming exactly back to this area. We're coming a little bit deeper. All right, 15-minute candle closed. Close a bit bullish over here. So we getting a bottom wick formed. Once this candle flips bullish or past the high of that candle, could we be taking a trade up here? Just got to check the so you got about 20 pips, so that's realistic for you to get. And if you bring it down even closer, that's like 23 pips if you take this as soon as it flips bullish. One second, guys. All right. So how's everyone doing the start of the week? Like everyone feeling confident? You feeling good to be back at least?
I'm happy that I'm being consistent with journaling. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's something.
There you go. That's awesome. Did you were you able to put anything into the group chat?
No, I'm definitely gonna link them today. Some stuff came up yesterday and I wasn't able to continue the day as I would have liked. But yeah, I can definitely focus on that a little bit more today.
Awesome. Let me know if you need any help like moving things over or understanding how to journal, stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I will. Thank you.
Yep.
Quick question. So I know right now we're looking for a quick scalp, basically.
Yep.
But overall, oh man. Well, okay. So in the 1 hour, I do see like that little channel. Like in the 1 hour, pretty much it's looking like it's a channel. So I see like long term, I feel like it could come down. Sorry, I think while I was charting, I kind of missed those parts that you were saying. So would you say that short term, like quick scalp, but long term, maybe it's a sell?
Well, what I was saying that could happen is that we got like a lower high that was formed right over here recently, right? Kind of like what we had over here to the left.
Right.
We had some of these lower highs formed.
Right.
Right here, right? So could we be getting the same thing over here? Right? If you're taking a look, I mean, that lower high could be right over here, but I think that we could push up. I have my resistance formed right over here on this 4 hour resistance. It's also the 1 hour resistance over here, right? So could we be pushing up into that area to retest that high? What we can do is at least retest this high, which is about 23 pips away, which is good, right? Because once we retest this high, that's where it starts to get a little tricky because we could be forming that lower high in this area. That supply zone to then continue to drive right back down. So we retest the high and then we continue right back down from there.
And in the longer scheme of things, like looking a little bit further away from the chart, could you see that as a potential correction to continue going back up?
It's tough for me to say because now we have the confluence of fundamentals behind us. Again, like I was saying before, if you look to the left, this move up was all just based on sentiment. It was like a fake move. It was just how people were feeling and what people were thinking was going to happen. It never actually happened, and we were able to push even higher than we are right now, right? So what are the chances now that we actually did the move that people were expecting over here, which is the golden goose of trading, or fundamentals for trading is interest rates. So now that we actually increase the interest rates, now we're actually grabbing liquidity to continue right back up. We're holding a nice support. I wish I was still in this trade, but now we're actually able to continue right back up from here. But again, we don't know what's going to happen. That's not going to definitely happen. So you just got to go by what you see, and you got to be able to not marry your bias so much. You got to be able to be okay with, your bias not playing out the way you exactly planned it to play out. You have to have that secondary bias, and you got to be fluid in the market.
So interest rates increasing could give us a bullish.
Well, yeah, they already increased rates in December, so that's what this whole move was from. Like when we pushed down over here, when we had this whole bearish movement over here, this was because they didn't increase rates. These are massive moves. This is a move right back down from the same level, 149, pushing all the way up to 158, right? That's about a $10 move right there, pushing all the way up here, all based on just sentiment, what people think is going to happen. It didn't happen. Well, actually, we reached this high, and then we kind of consolidated in this area over here. Then we ended up breaking support, retesting that area, and then they didn't increase rates when they were expected to in November. That was a big surprise. They were going to be the first central bank to basically increase rates, and that never happened. So it ended up pushing us all the way down here to 149, previous support in the higher time frames, previous candle body highs all the way to the left on the monthly. Consolidated, and then guess what? Toward end of December, we ended up increasing rates right from this technical level and pushing all the way up to this area. So we've been creating these higher lows over here, respecting this 50 EMA over here, right? And now we're retesting the 200 EMA to hold support so far. Could we be continuing up from here and continuing this trend to 160?
Is this something you believe the news today will kind of give us a clear direction on?
Well, there's no clear news when it comes to fundamentals for GBP, but what we do have is Powell speaking, and when Powell speaks right now, that influences other central banks around the world, right? You also have some data coming out of Japan tonight too, but that's not too important. But whatever he says today, if it's any kind of a surprise, it could rattle the markets. Just like what I was saying yesterday, affecting the Japanese yen, right? It's a safe haven currency. So any kind of fear in the market as a whole, whether it's like Omicron variant, a new variant coming out, inflation, stuff like that, people are going to be pulling their money into safe haven metals and currencies. And that's where you see GBP, JPY going bearish because people are investing into the Japanese yen. And that's where we come over here. So just want to make sure we're not missing this move, this 30-minute candle. We might as well wait for the 30-minute to close. Hopefully it closes like this with a wick to fill. Stop loss down here. We take this right back up to retest the high. Sound good?
So that's basically like a retest type setup.
High created, we come down, we hold support on the 30-minute strong time frame, we take this thing up. That's simple. And then this is where once we reach this high up here, maybe what you could do right here is place two entries, an impulse or not an impulse entry, but use dynamic risk entering once this candle closes, and the second one with the same stop loss down here, and you secure the first one once it reaches the high up here. And the second one, you have that further TP that you bank on that further move up, like I was just talking about. And maybe that becomes a runner right back up to 158. Who knows? It could happen. But again, you want to be able to secure somewhere in these areas up here. When we retest the high, when we tap into this trend over here to create maybe a lower high, right? Different secure points. What's up, Giovanni?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Oh man, congrats on the league.
Thank you, my friend.
So some of you guys, I think, yeah, Chris is in it, but Kat and Jody, we have a fantasy football league in the group, and we have a special channel for that in Slack. You guys aren't in it because you're not in the league, but Giovanni was actually the one that that won the league this year. So it's awesome. He won $700.
That's cool.
Congratulations.
Like $700
It
game.
was 600.
What was that?
600.
600. There you go. You can throw that in the trading account.
That's what I just did, my friend.
I love it. Now, I don't know if you're here, but the IRS is now looking into these payment apps, and you're gonna have to start paying taxes on this stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I was seeing that.
Are they doing that now?
Well, yeah, they're working on it. I think the IRS hired 180,000 new agents
Yeah, I know.
to
I
go
heard
knock
about
on
it.
your door and take your money.
Wow.
Yep.
I thought that was dead with Build Back Better or whatever.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
They're still working on it.
Hmm.
So let's see if we get a nice little 30-minute close. We got a wick to fill. This might be perfect. Actually, that's the 1 hour. So let's say the 15-minute candle closes like this. Once the next candle creates a bottom wick and then past the high of that one, flips bullish, we may be able to take this thing up. Now, if this doesn't play out, I don't want you to get disappointed. I want you to be able to manage what you think is going to happen. So if we end up closing below this area over here, could this be a giant fake out? And this is that lower high over here, right? To continue down. So now we have a secondary bias that we need to form in case we come below this support. We have kind of a clean move right back down to this area. This would be, I would want to wait for the retest right here, if that's the case. If we actually end up getting this and price closes below this area, I would want a clean retest before taking this thing down, because you're still in a bullish trend, even if we break that support. All right. So just wait for the retest and then continue down. But what I'm looking for is a nice buy right up to this level. I think this is going to be a nice trade for us, especially with that 7:30 to 8 o'clock volume. That's always nice volume. Well, not always, but a lot of the times. Gio. Morning, buddy.
How's it going, man?
Rise and
Morning.
shine. Let me post this real quick. Gio, you take anything yesterday?
Actually, I was trying to join my trade. I mean, the possible trade yesterday.
You
we gotta
keep
take
breaking up.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I was trying to build a possible trade that we got yesterday. It was on the 5th minute, the 8:45 candle. Was it
The
8:45? No, 8:30.
during New York. Yeah, this was. Oh, that's right. I was talking about this yesterday. This was a great move. Nobody answered me. I was like trading by myself. but I had to leave and I was on the road and I saw this thing playing out. I was like, oh, this is perfect. I was only worried about this area right down here, but I knew we could at least retest it. Let's look at the current price action real quick. Okay, so we got that bearish close on the 15-minute. 30-minute candle close bullish. All right, I'm going to enter right now. After that 30-minute close. Anticipating price to continue bullish. My stop loss is right down here. My TP is right at this high up here. Analysis. So we got a nice healthy support formed on the 30-minute. We just need some volume to push us through over here. 15-minute did pass the high of that candle. Let's see if we hold support. Now, if this 15-minute starts to flip bearish and pass the low of this candle, I'll be managing risk. Does this trade make sense to everyone so far? And is anyone in it?
I'm
Yeah,
in
I
it.
got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is probably where we should put this level right here. Now that I'm looking at it, I think if you want to enter dynamic risk, if we get a close above this level, you may be able to enter another position. Starting to flip over here. 15-minute.
It's probably gonna retest your return line.
Think so?
Yeah.
Kind of like consolidate a little bit and then continue up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a break on the trend line.
I like it. Wait, for the downside?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. There's always that like bias in trading where you guys are like kind of going at it. You know what I'm talking about?
The problem is that I'm trying a new system now. It's with the SMAs. So I have
Okay.
an 8 SMA and a 50 SMA.
8 and a 50.
Yeah.
Got it.
So usually they like to retest each other. And my SMA, my 50 SMA on the daily needs to catch up to the 8 SMA. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah. Well,
So
you want them to
see
cross?
Yesterday it actually retested the 50 SMA on the 4 hour. So now what has to catch up is the daily SMA. That's why I'm sells on GJ.
Mm.
But let's see if it works out.
Yeah.
There's something new that I'm trying on now.
Okay. Yeah, I like how like on the 15 we're above these two EMAs over here, 200 and the 50. So let's see what happens over here.
I would go for buys. It is above 157 flat.
57 flat. Okay.
And
Makes
then take
sense.
it up all the way down up to 157 500.
I mean, I love this 30-minute close. Like that's a very strong close with a wick to fill. Which it should fill, but we'll see. We do have this level that we do need to clear through. I thought we'd have the volume to do so. 30 minutes flipping bearish.
But look at the way that candle was positioned. The bullish candle.
Yes.
It broke the high and the low.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I've been noticing that candle is like a beware candle. You have to be very patient with those candles.
Yep.
So what you do is you wait for the next candle, and basically the next candle didn't even break the high or the low.
So that's
So
actually, oh, you were talking about the next 30-minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what I was doing with the 15-minute. Because we got the bearish 15-minute, but this candle created like a bottom wick over here. We get the 730 volume, starts to pass the high of that candle. I was expecting a fill of that wick to continue right back up after the 30-minute close.
But usually
Right.
when that happens and it breaks the high and the low, it's like a little range.
Mm.
It turns into a little range.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to see what's going on over here.
I don't like to be in ranges, man. You lose money.
Hell no. What I'm looking at over here, it's the fact that we have this low that was created, right? The retest of that level.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this support being respected so far on the 1 minute. So what my conditions were, if we pass the low of this 15-minute candle over here, I'll be closing probably the full thing. I would definitely close the full thing right there. But looking at the lower time frames over here, this is where you use these time frames to see if we bounce off this level and hold this support to continue up. But right now we're holding that resistance right now, and that's something that we need to be aware of. Failed to break through that. All right, we're starting to break over here. So this is where we close the full thing. All right. All right, perfect. Risk 2%, only lost 0.96.
Nice, bro. That's good.
Yes, sir. That's a win, guys. I know it. I know you guys don't want to win, or you don't want to lose trades, but when you guys are managing risk, you guys got to know that you are going to lose trades. It's inevitable. Nobody's like a perfect trader. It's impossible. So when you're managing risk and keeping those losses small, each of those is a lesson. It's a win, right? And there's it's a win-win basically, because you're learning something and you're also keeping your loss small when you have to get those losses. When you have these setups like this, right? You have this bullish trend over here. You get the clean move to the left. You get the high that was already created. There's a good chance that we could fill that wick. I understand that we did create that bottom wick over here, but I've seen many times that we do continue up. There's just a little bit lower of a possibility or probability. So that's what we were banking on over here. So when this candle starts flipping bearish, right, you're not going to micromanage your trade. You're going to be, okay in it. But then once we start to come down into this area over here, and that's where you go to these lower time frames. That's why I was pointing this out, because you see these different levels that price reacts to. And that's what you can use to manage risk a little bit tighter, a little bit cleaner, right? Now, what we could have done, even so, maybe again, I don't like micromanaging my trades, but I do like using some of these lower time frames to manage risk. Now, once you're in this trade and you realize that you have this bearish trend over here on the 1 minute, once you get not this bearish candle, because we could always get this bullish candle to continue right back up, but once you get this one right here, maybe that's where you could start considering to manage risk, because we're starting to react to a key level right here. Previous resistance, also this trend line. So once you get this bearish candle right here, it's like, okay, maybe we got to start managing risk. Once this candle creates its top wick past the low of this candle, okay, maybe even more, I got to manage my risk. So these are different lessons that you guys take into it. I didn't want to micromanage this on the 1 minute because it's a 30-minute trade, but that's where some of these lower time frames come in handy and what you could be journaling. So could this end up being our lower high over here? So if we close below this level over here, get kind of a clean move to continue right back down to create a new low somewhere down in here. All right, so what did we just do? We create this high up here. We push all the way back down to 156 flat, right? We create a lower high up here, and then we push all the way down to create a new low right over here, right? So now we push up, create a lower high. Could we be pushing right back down to create an even newer low? Right? Everything's got to be a possibility to you. Nothing could be like out of this realm, or, you know, there's no way that could happen. Or, you know, you have your bias, you're in a trade, you're like, there's no way that this could go the opposite way. You always got to be prepared for that. You got to be confident in your strategy, but always know that there's a possibility that it's not going to play out. And that's what you live with as a trader. You're okay with that because you're taking a risk and you know that. Now, I just want to check on the people that were also in this trade. Kat and Gio. Was there anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Kat, how did you manage this?
As soon as it started passing or like going below that line that we drew, that level.
On the 1 minute?
I did. No, it was on the 15-minute. It was just like not looking too pretty. I closed half. And then when you mentioned to close the full thing, I was like, yeah, it's time to close the full thing.
You're saying this line right here?
No, sorry. Did I annotate? Like somewhere around here, I think. Yeah, somewhere around this area.
Oh, okay, good.
I closed 50, and then like I guess around here. I entered kind of late because I was like trying to figure out my magic keys again. So I'm just practicing.
Yeah.
And yeah. And then I closed the full thing around there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think I have my level up here too. And like if we go back and watch the replay, we noticed that, and this is why going back and watching these live sessions are so important, because let's say after this session, you write down your morning AAR. So like, how'd you wake up this morning? Were you active? Did you get everything done that you wanted to before the session? How'd your session go? Are you proud of the way that you traded today? Stuff like that. You need to write to yourself. You need to talk to yourself on paper. And it's so important because that's crucial to your growth. They call it in Naked Forex, it's called market biofeedback. So it's basically what you're thinking in the market. And that's how you get better if you keep recording this stuff. But now what you could do is rewatch you're writing that morning AAR, all the stuff you thought, and go back on the YouTube and rewatch the live stream from this morning and look at how we were thinking. What were some of the mistakes that we were doing with this trade? The one thing was we had this support marked off as a crucial area that we could be tapping into. What we didn't notice though was that if you go down to the 15-minute time frame, you have this support right here, this wick right here, and then this resistance right here. So what we should have done, and I mean, we did the right thing because we waited for the 30-minute candle to close, but the only thing is the 15-minute candle closed like this. So the 30-minute candle closed right here, right? And this candle created a small bottom wick, started passing the high. So maybe you just wait for a 15-minute candle to close above this level. That way you know that we could grab these 23 pips. This was more of an impulse entry with that 730 volume. thinking that it was going to push us up to retest a high. Never happened. We managed risk the right way. It was perfect. Could we have done it a little bit sooner? Absolutely. You know, that's always a possibility, but you're never going to have a perfect entry. And sometimes you can have a perfect management, and I do a lot of the times, but there's also times that there could be a lot of improvement. One of them, again, the level could have been right here. Also could have managed a little bit sooner, and also could have waited for the candle to close above. But doing things like this, talking to yourself like that, writing these things down, these are all things I'm going to be writing down in my journal. This is how you get better. Is anybody in here that I think you guys are all OGs in here. What's up, Gary?
What's up?
How are you, buddy?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. Good to
Got your
hear.
new chair, yeah?
What was that?
Got your new chair?
New chair? Why, you saw my chair? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what did I post on Instagram or something, and you saw it right away?
Yeah, Christmas presents.
Yeah, under the tree. My fiance got it. Yeah, I didn't know what I wanted this year. It's like, I don't know. I'm easy. Give me whatever. So now we're starting to break below over here. So what was our secondary bias? Let's go to some of these higher time frames. So the 1 hour candle got a strong bearish candle right over here, closed. This 1 hour candle is not closed yet. Could we be closing bullish over here? But this 1 hour candle starting to flip bearish over here. So looking at the 30-minute, do we close below this level, right? To continue right back down? This would be high risk, high reward sells. Safer sells will be below this level. So now anybody that was in that trade, if you have trouble handling a loss, this is where you can close your MetaTrader and just sit back for a second, right? And relax, because there's a lot of times you take a loss, you want to make that thing right back. It's just a natural human instinct. But you can't do that, not for the sake of your account. Let's go back and check on gold. So gold again, we got that bearish close over there on the 4 hour. Right now, we're kind of just playing around this area. This is just still no trade range over here. Kind of a similar setup to GJ a little bit. You guys see how we're reacting to this level over here? Who's on? I think Kat and Chris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're getting that reaction to this level a little bit. So I think safe sells will be below 1805. If we get that. So yeah, if you want to grab that, like we're very bullish right now. We're reacting to this previous level that we've been talking about, 1810. So if you want to grab that quick scalp back down to 1810 or 1800, that I could say that be a smart trade to then continue right back up, retest the high and continue through if we get any kind of negative news or anything like that. Still holding this support over here. Yeah, Giovanni, you could be right with this range in here. Wait for the retest and then continue up.
Yeah.
Even range like we could even break this area, not retest, and then continue around here and then continue up.
Mm-hmm. We could wait for that. I just didn't like that candle because it broke the highs and the lows.
Yeah, me too. It's a good call.
Hey, by any chance, do you have an Excel that I could just that can just do the calculations like let's say I go up 2%.
In Excel?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If you go into the course, the whole data sheet is right there.
Okay.
You go to Teachable, and there's a thing for like links and discounts, shit like that. You can download that from there. It's Google Sheets.
I'm having a hard time understanding the bias for, I guess, higher time frames and lower time frames for DJ. Well, I mean, it depends what kind of like higher time frame. Like if I look at the 4 hour or something like that, like it's very clearly bullish. But then as we're like nearing in a little bit more, and like I take a look more at the current price and we look at that channel kind of that I was saying, maybe that's a correction. I see, okay, that looks bearish. But then as we get closer, like in the 15-minute, it's very clearly bullish, but within like a bearish kind of move. And then I'm just like, okay, so like which one is it and which one am I trying to focus on right now?
Yeah. So the one thing that you want to understand too, like we could just break this down real quick on the higher time frame. So 149 obviously is a strong support in the higher time frames, right? So then you have 156 right over here, which was our previous high, and we finally retested it right over here. So we did that back in May of this year, May and June. We held that resistance up here. So we pushed right back down to this level, and then we pushed right back up with that market sentiment. Corrected it, and then corrected that move as well, printing a strong bullish candle. This tells me when we get stuff like this, like a candle like that, the next candle should be continuing up if we get some good volume. So the next level over here, I would say, could be on the higher time frames, 160. Right now, what is this? What does this candle tell you?
That we flipped bullish.
We flip bullish, and it's a healthy bullish candle because it has a bottom wick, right? And it passed the high of that candle. Also, you look at the date, right? All these different things are very important. The price, where price is at, the date, the time, if you're scalping or swinging, doesn't matter. But right now, we're sitting at January 11th, right in the beginning of the month, first week and a half of the month, right? So what are the chances that this candle ends up being much bigger? Now, if this candle was the way it was and it was January 27th, I would say we're probably going to range for the rest of the month, right? But the fact that this candle is the way it is, we could end up pushing up a little bit more, at least. We're creating, what are the chances that that's so important to think about probabilities, because what are the chances that we're going to fill this wick throughout the entire month with the way this candle printed and this candle is the way it is? It's pretty high. It's not definitely going to happen, but we have a strong possible probability that it may. So, and then also, what are the chances that we come up and retest 160 after doing so? Pretty high, because look how strong this monthly candle was. Plus, not to mention the fundamentals on your side of the fact that they actually did increase rates. And it looks like we want to stay above 156 over here. So that's confluence right there for the monthly. Looking at the weekly now, at the candles, get some strong bullish candles right over here. Are we experiencing some kind of a pullback? Absolutely, because we had these previous highs up here. So we're going to get some kind of a pullback. Doesn't mean it's got to stay there, or it's got to be candle bodies pulling back. We could just get that bottom wick formed. Again, it's the beginning of the week. You're looking at the time. You're looking at the date. It's only Tuesday. So this weekly candle looks like it's already created its bottom wick, and it's rejecting that level. It's trying to flip bullish. So what are the chances we flip bullish through this level? Pretty high. Plus, you got a wick right here that you can fill. Wick right up here that you can fill. It's a rejection wick, right? We could end up rejecting this level up here at 158.200. But again, there's a strong possibility that we retest it.
Right.
Okay. So looking at the daily now, what do you see based on what I was just saying?
Well, it's very clearly still bullish when
You can annotate if you want to.
Okay, sure. I'm always also trying to focus like not too far back. So like when I'm looking at this section, you know, I try to do that. I'm like, okay, we're bullish. Cool.
Yep.
And then just as I keep going down, I'll probably start focusing on this section here.
Okay.
So I will very much acknowledge the bullish trend as like the overall higher time frame bias, which I guess is more helpful when you're swing trading.
Absolutely.
More than anything.
Well, I mean, it also helps as a scalper. You got to know like the higher time frame bias at least to know that you're trading with the trend most of the time at least.
Right.
But if you could break down the anatomy of these candles right here, and just let me know what you're thinking with these, like each candle. That's what I say, like in that trading checklist before you take a trade, the things you should check. One of them is studying the anatomy of the candle. So like just break down this candle, and just let me know what you're thinking with all these and where you see price going, because that helps a lot when it comes to your psychology and where you think price is going to go. Just speaking it out, talking it out.
Okay, so I guess as far as like higher lows go, I see that potentially happening. Well, I mean, that's been happening, obviously, if it's bullish trend. And then this engulfing candle going up, pretty much forming a resistance up here, then breaking the low of this bullish candle, but still, well, now we're starting to form like lower highs and lower lows. So I guess I would kind of just be observing that new resistance is forming and still keeping, again, like the higher time frame bias in mind. So like if it breaks this low, then I would start not changing my bias completely, but starting to ask the question, can we continue down? And then if it breaks this support as well, I would consider that. But just like looking at the candles, like what I was mentioning earlier, it kind of just looks like it could be a correction. Like that's what I see.
Absolutely.
If that's what you meant.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great job. What I'm looking at here is obviously we're in this bullish trend. You get this high created. We get a strong bearish close right over here, coming right back down into this level of 156, psychological level, obviously. So once you get that, but you get the high created and we're in such a bullish trend, what you're saying is, okay, now can we get a retest of 156? Can we hold this as a support, right? And what you're getting is that happening. So what you're getting right now is after this candle closed bullish, you got this bullish candle close, right? So you get that bullish candle close, which formed this support right here. This candle closed below. This candle never passed the low of that candle, flipped bullish, and is now passing this level right here. Does that make sense? So in a bullish trend, if that happens and this candle breaks back into the range, what would you normally call that?
If a what, sorry?
If, let's say, like on a scalp, like you have a bullish trend.
Mm-hmm.
How can I? Yeah, you have a bullish trend pushing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then price comes back. I'm trying to draw a fake out right now, but what I'm trying to say, this is like a fake out right over here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You have this resistance, price breaks above it, struggles to stay above, and then we come right back down into the range. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like the opposite of that kind of a fake out. This fake out is price coming below a support and then coming right back into the, like, say this is a whole range. Here we go. Clear all this shit out. So this is a range. Price is ranging over here. Then we break below. We close right back into the range, retest the previous support, and then continue up. You ever seen that setup before?
Yes.
So this is that range right over here. This is the little fake out right over here. This candle just needs to close back into that range, and then you know we could possibly be dropping up after that, after creating a bottom wick. So that's where like the anatomy of the candles and just breaking it down, and that goes for like all you guys too. When you're by yourselves, sitting at the chart, I know it sounds silly, but sit there and like speak out loud to yourself what you're thinking. Let's actually go back to lower time frames over here because I want to see what's going on. Looks like we are holding this support at 8 o'clock, but again, we need to clear this level right here if we're going to retry this trade. We need a nice close above that level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's, you know, you don't trade. That's all.
So just looking at the 30-minute, we do want specifically for a next candle to close above this level. Like it can't be this range right here.
No, yeah, no, it's, you know, this is like a no-go, basically, right in here.
And also there's a bunch of wicks too. So it's like maybe no.
Yeah, exactly. You want at least like a 15-minute close above, maybe even if you get like a 5-minute close and a retest on the 5-minute. Because as you can see, where you don't want to trade in this, but once we start breaking this level right here, we're starting to break the bearish trend as well as holding 156 as a support, or 156 700 as a support.
Right.
So I like what I'm seeing so far. We just need that little break. Giovanni, how you feeling about the year start?
Oh, I feel good.
Awesome. Have a big year for you,
Awesome.
all you guys. When you guys ought to like think of a theme for the year for yourself, like one thing that you're going to be focusing on. And a couple of you guys have already hopped on Zooms with. I want to hop on the rest of, with the rest of you guys on Zooms, but just putting together those 3 areas of focus for the year. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing, but so crucial. And just having that theme every single day that you're constantly pushing towards, whether it's staying consistent, whether it's eliminating emotions in the markets, right? Whether it's getting back into shape, any of that stuff. Like there's got to be some kind of a theme and one thing that you're really working towards for the end of the year, maybe 2. One thing could be the shape of your life. The other one could be being able to trade full time with a prop firm if you need it, full time.
For me, it's keeping things simple and becoming a funded trader.
There you go. Kat, do you find yourself getting emotions, a lot of emotions in the market?
Not so much anymore, surprisingly. Just mostly like how I was mentioning, I kind of sometimes get impaired vision. That's my new favorite word to describe how I feel.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I don't really feel too much emotion. Like we took that loss, I feel fine because we manage risk. Like I'm totally okay. I messed up so much this last summer, like last year, trying to play around with US 30. Like it was all kinds of messy. And I learned real quick, you know, not to overtrade, and that like you just need to keep things a little bit more consolidated, have a system in place. And that way, you know, you'll understand your losses. So that way you can also understand your wins, and like the math will add up. So it'll be okay, kind of thing. So emotional, like emotion is in that way, not so much. If anything, I just overthink things. That's why I keep like trying to emphasize I gotta be like keeping things simple. Yeah.
Well, yeah, again, like emotions are always going to be part of what you're doing, right? They're always going to be part of any kind of decision that you're making. The idea is to just kick them out as much as you can, right? Make sure that they're not part of they're not a main part of your psychology or your decision. It's mainly logical. It's 70 to 80% logical, rational decision, instead of having that emotional baggage that you have going on when you're in a trade, or you know, when you're making a decision, when you hit adversity, any of that stuff. It's all got to be just straight logic.
Right, exactly.
And you know, that's why I have that post note. I tell you guys to make this too. I don't really need this as much as I used to, but emotional or logical, and you put that right next to your magic keys. Is this an emotional trade or a logical trade? Starting to push up over here, which is good. So now, as you can see, we're breaking that bearish trend over here. So are we going to get a close above this level on the 15-minute, the 5-minute? Maybe get a little retest on the 5-minute. You can take this thing out. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
You do? He's crazy. He's 10 pounds and he thinks he's like this big guard dog.
That's the funniest thing.
I know. Gary, you like the Stones?
Yeah.
The best.
So Glastonbury. Have you heard of Glastonbury?
You saw them?
Yeah, saw them live.
Wow. Dude, the things I would do to see them live. I think they're the greatest of all time.
Yeah, so have you heard of the festival called Glastonbury? Big UK one.
Okay.
So I'm there. They headlined on the Saturday.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's awesome. When was this?
2013.
2003?
13.
Oh, 13? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, that's awesome. They've been cranking. Charlie Watts just died.
Yeah.
So let's see if we get that. We got 6 minutes for the 15-minute to close. Get a little pullback. You take this out. Got 8 o'clock volume. We got Miles in here. What's up, brother?
Not too much. What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You take anything this morning?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Just staying, just looking around. I didn't see anything. How about you guys?
Yeah, we took GJ buys after this 15-minute candle. You get the 30-minute candle that closed bullish right here with a wick to fill. And then on the 15-minute, we closed bearish right over here. But this candle created a bottom wick, started to pass the high of that candle right there. So that's where we entered a buy. And we only, me personally, I managed risk pretty well. Could have done it even better, but right over here, we lost. I lost around 0.96% compared to 2%. So it was a good victory as far as risk management. But we're looking for a re-entry over here after holding support to continue right back up. We're just waiting for this level to close above. But I think this is going to be a big session for you to rewatch once it's on YouTube. It'll be good for you to see how we manage risk, how we enter the trade, breaking the trade down, breaking both pairs down, and the the setups that we're looking for, stuff like that. So that's that'll be good for you.
Sounds good.
Gary sent the link. Oh, is this the sound?
This signal means there's major income to be made, or what I've come to call an ultimate spike. Close
Easy now.
90%.
We don't want signals. Greatest. Oh, you were here? Gary, you were at this? No?
Yeah, I was in there somewhere.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen that concert before.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's crazy.
I know. Nuts. All those flags and shit.
That's it. Yeah, Glastonbury is called.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You got James. Good morning, buddy. I might not be able to talk. He's got work. So yeah, that's what we're looking at over here on GJ. Everyone's sleeping around. We're like family and shit, friends. It's all right. You're up, catching the worm, baby. Love it. So the 1 hour looks nice to continue right back up over here, right? 1 hour candle never passed the low of that candle. We're getting some 8 o'clock volume. What are the chances we continue right back up? We got 15 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close, or 15 minutes. We got 2 minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. 5-minute candle closed above that level. Right now, we're reacting to this level over here. So let's see if we start to turn around, hold support here, and continue up. From that point on, that's probably where I'm going to be entering. Once we kind of clear this whole level of 156,900. Get a nice volume push after the 15-minute close. But it looks like the 15 is going to close above this level, which is what we want. Yep. Will it or will it not? Yeah, so a lot of our time frames are lining up for us. The only thing is this, you know what? I don't know. Yeah, James, the only thing is what I'm looking at is what I was just breaking down too with GJ is that we've created these lower highs over here. Now, again, why it's so important to look at the time is because the 4 hour candle is going to close in 45 minutes. What are the chances this 4 hour candle flips bullish in the next 45 minutes? I don't know. It could happen, or we could close like a doji candle, which would be nice, and then continue up. But this could be our lower high over here to then start continuing right back down to create a new low, because you get these higher lows over or lower highs over here, and then what you got is lower lows, right? So what are the possibilities that we could come right back down here to create that low, like we were just talking about? The only thing that isn't on our side for that bias is fundamentals. We just increased interest rates last month. So like we should be pushing up, but we'll see. Stock market isn't looking too good, right? Equities aren't looking too good right now. So maybe that's what's having us react to 157 right now. 157, 800.
Since the 15-minute did not close above that level, is it almost safe to say, unless we're taking an impulse entry, that we can wait another 15 minutes?
Yeah, well, you could also wait here. Looking at the 15-minute over here. Yeah, the 15 didn't close above that level, which I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Reacted to this level right here on the 5-minute. So you would need like a support formed over here. We ideally we wanted the 15-minute to close above this level, and it didn't. We rejected it again. So there's no safe entry yet.
Right.
That's why you stay patient.
So could we say that like we can wait another 15 minutes for the next candle to close?
Well, what you could do is now you have volume. So volume makes it okay for you to take impulse entries. So after this 15-minute, we held support right down here. Right? Holding support so far. If this 15-minute candle creates a bottom wick and starts, really pushing up, then you could possibly take it as it passed the high of that candle, but that's up to you. Then you could have a tighter stop loss. But, that's if that's okay with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the 30-minute looks healthy so far, but we're still below this level. This is still like a key level that we need to be aware of. But yeah, what I do like about this is the fact that we're breaking that little minor bearish trend on the 5-minute. And holding support. Did that clear that up, James? Are you going to wait for the 5-minute support? Yeah, I would like the 5-minute to form a support right where we're at right here, like a 5-minute close. The next 5-minute creates a bottom wick past the high of those candles. That means the 15-minute already created its bottom wick and it's starting to pass the high of that candle. And again, it's a high volume time. Do you want to take a trade like that at 6 a.m.? Probably not. Or 7:30 during Asian? Maybe not. But 8:15, 8:30 during New York Open might be a good time to do it. But you just got to have it part of your plan. 1 hour looks nice. I got to journal my trade from last night. Right, starting to push up. All right, we got a strong bullish 5-minute close over here. So now I just re-entered. During the forming of that bottom wick, got my stop loss about 10 pips away over here, anticipating the volume to push us up into this level up here. At least get the 1-to-1. Anybody else in right now?
Nope.
Now, when it comes to this, and you guys just saw, awesome, James. You guys just saw that we just took a loss, right? But we managed the risk really well, pretty well. Could have been better, but I think we did pretty well. What was I going to say? Okay, so that's where you want to make sure that you're coming into the market before you even start the session. You want to come into the market knowing that you're only going to be taking 2 trades, and that's it. So this is my final trade for the day, and I'm okay with that re-entry. If this doesn't work out, then I'm done. I close the charts, and I'm done. I can easily walk away and give myself another day to trade tomorrow, or maybe Asian, but I doubt it. Right? So that's where you really got to have that discipline when it comes to coming to the charts and saying, I'm only trading 2 trades. That's it. I have 2 opportunities. What kind of opportunity am I going to take that on? Right? Super important. I like the bullish pressure though. Is all this kind of catching on for you guys, Jody? Kat, anyone fairly new, Miles? Everything making sense?
I understand.
Yeah.
All right, good. Awesome. Come on, DJ. Carolyn.
Steph, could you talk a little bit about why the pound would increase after, or any currency for that matter, like would increase in value after the interest rates have been increased?
Yeah, so that's like, okay, so are you familiar with stocks?
Yeah, like I'm pretty familiar with it, honestly. Like I understand like the basics and how it impacts the value of the currency, but sometimes when I'm like really trying to understand it in deep dive, I kind of confuse myself because I'm like, I know that on the one hand, it's like the interest rates, if it increases, obviously it can, like, you can get more. Like I know that when you increase the interest rates, it's because you can get more money, obviously, when you're putting it in the bank, and it's kind of, encourages people to pull back a little bit and put their money away. Whereas when you decrease the interest rates, it encourages investment. But I'm kind of like, the thing that confuses me is that there's 2 sides to it, and like which side kind of weighs more. Because when you decrease, does that make sense?
In a way, I think I know where you're going with this, but keep going.
Yeah, so like it's like I'm wondering because I know, so for example, like let's say the interest rates let's say the interest rates are increasing, right? And on the one hand, I'm thinking, I know that that's going to be that's going to allow people to, or it entice more people to put some money in the bank gradually because they're going to be getting more of an increase on their money that's just sitting there.
Like think about the Swiss like offshore banks. Like how many billionaires keeping money over there? It's because
Right.
they get more for their money. It's almost like an investment, almost. Like, and when you keep your money in a currency or a metal or anything like that, you're holding your money in that currency, right?
Mhm.
So the higher the value, the higher the interest rate of that currency, the more your money is going to be valuable. So when we trade the Forex market, we're literally trading money, right? That's why I always laugh at, like, would you do this if you were doing it for free? I mean, would we? Because we're making money. Like, that's the whole point of what we're doing. So, like, the same exact thing goes for like interest rates. Like, the more valuable something is, you want to invest into it.
Mhm.
Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah,
So
and
the
I
more
get
buying power you have.
right, and I guess that's the part that kind of confuses me is like, what's like, is the value more from having the high interest rate and from the consumer side being able to put your money and get a higher return on it, or is more of the value coming from I guess that same increase in interest rate, because that also makes it harder for you to do for other countries
To
to
do business.
trade with you, right? So it's like there's a lot of moving parts to it, and I kind of get confused sometimes when I think about what has the most value. Is it like from the consumer perspective, or is it from the lender perspective? Because
It's not really the consumer, because if you think of it's not 100% the consumer, because if you think about it, when you're trading stocks, you're trading companies, right? You're trading the CEO, whoever that is, you're trading what he's saying, you're trading what the sales are out of that company, you're trading the balance sheet, the income statement, all that stuff. When you're trading currencies, you're trading governments, not companies anymore. So what government has the highest value currency, right? Swiss franc, right?
oh, is it Swiss franc?
What was that?
I know. I said, is it the Swiss franc? I
It's
would
not.
have thought it
No,
was.
I'm using that. I'm using that as an example, right? Like,
Oh, okay.
that's just one of them out there. This is looking pretty good so far. The 30 minutes about to close, by the way. It's a nice 30-minute candle. So if it closes like this, there's a high probability that we could be continuing right back up, right? But does that make sense, Miles? Like when a country increases its interest rates, that currency for that country is more valuable now.
Yeah,
And that's
I guess
basically all that is.
And I guess like the underlying factor for that is that more people would want to hold their money in that currency because it's paying more, and that basically trumps all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. Fundamentals are very very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm looking for in the 30-minute. Now this is that point where, like, a lot of times, like, if we push 7-8 pips into profit and then we come back to break even, I basically always close 50%. Like, that's mainly what happens. Now, we didn't push that far up. We only pushed like 4 or 5 pips right up here, and now we're coming back to the entry. Now, looking at this based on the 30-minute, you're looking for that bottom wick to form on the 30-minute and for price to flip bullish and continue right back up to this high. And in that case, if that happens, you're going to get the 4-hour closing like a doji candle up here. But I am a little worried, to be honest with you, I am a little worried about this 4-hour candle, because we're kind of trading against it, but we're holding a strong 1-hour close, 1-hour support over here. 30-minute, nice 30-minute candle just closed. So we'll see what we end up getting over here. 15-minute just closed above that level. So could you get like a retest? Bottom wick formed on the 30-minute, which is that retest, and then we continue up. Multiple time frame confluence. Now, what's the exit plan? Always have that exit plan. Price starts coming back into this range over here, you got to start thinking twice about the trade. Like, especially passing the low of this candle right over here.
Hey, Steph.
Yep.
So sorry. So I figured out what it was that was confusing me. So basically, I'm just wondering, because with the increase of interest rates, that obviously benefits whoever's lending, and it disadvantages whoever's borrowing. Like it's going to cost more to borrow money. So I think that's the part that confused me, is knowing like which interest has more value in terms of how, I guess, the currency is looked at overall. And just to confirm, like basically what you're saying is, so let's say interest rates go to like average, let's say they go to like 5%. You're saying because someone who's lending money to the bank, they get 5% on their interest rate, like that they get that 5% back on their, on their money. That would hold, that's more valuable overall than the disadvantages of having to pay 5% interest in, like, to borrow that money.
Well, the thing is, like with interest rates, like when you increase interest rates, this is one thing that you got to keep in mind. Everything is going to go down as far as business. Like it's going to be harder to borrow money to start a business, right? So you're going to see GDP in that country go down. You're going to see a lot of different things going down, but the value of that currency is going to go up. The value of that country is going to go up because people can store their money in those banks, get more high interest on their money. When they're keeping their money in those banks, right? It's not going to be much. It's not what it used to be. Back in the 50s, you used to get that. There used to be an investment to keep your money in the bank. Now it's almost like 0% interest rates, right? You're barely getting anything for your money.
Yeah.
This is actually looking good right now. But I would say it benefits the government the most.
Gotcha.
Miles.
Yeah, no, that makes that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it again, like increasing interest rates, is it going to do that much for us? Because interest rates are so low to begin with. So if you raise them from 0.25% to 0.50% or even 1%, we're still not going to keep our money in the bank just as like an investment.
Yeah, no.
Like, does it increase the interest rate? Sure, but like I would say it's probably worse for the average citizen than it is, for the government. Like it makes the government's dollar a lot better. They get to lend out money for more. Banks get to lend out money for more and make more money that way. But again, you start to see business owners struggle a little bit because there was no better time to start a business than, besides the pandemic, but than in the past couple of years when we had such low interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, GJ.
So I actually entered in the 15-minute as soon as the 15-minute closed, and I saw the wick down. And was that valid?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm guessing you're putting your stop loss below this 15-minute.
It's actually here, like around here.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, right below that 15. Awesome. So pretty soon I'm going to be moving my stop loss up to this area, and then eventually up here, and then continuing right back up and letting this come up at least into this area, and then I'll secure. Or maybe this wick right here. Only because of the 4-hour, like I said, like the 4-hour is going to close, right? And how is it going to close? Is it going to close like a weak body candle? The next candle creates a small bottom wick past the high and continues up? Or do we hold resistance with that 4-hour candle and we continue right back down from there to fill this wick? That's what I don't like. But if you go down to the 1 hour, again, 1 hour's great setup, 30-minute great setup, and 15 now too. We're above that level. These were our conditions, waiting for price to close above this level. And you try to stay as emotion-free as possible. Everything's logic and everything's by the system. And everything is not, like, I want you guys, especially you guys that are in the trade right now, this trade is not make or break, right? Unless you just risk 50%, which I know none of you guys are doing, right? This trade is only for the accumulation of the trades over the course of this week. Right? It's only part of that equation. It's only adding. And you're looking to build an account over the course of the week and over the course of the month. And each trade is basically a tool for that. It's a brick. You're laying those bricks. Remember we talked about that? Laying the bricks to build a house instead of just throwing the bricks all over the place, and you just end up getting like a random house. or not a house at all.
Yeah.
So just laying those bricks over the week closely, carefully, with the right amount of cement, and you're just placing it there. Okay, that's a trade. Nice. Let's move on to the next brick. If you see that brick's cracked, you cut that brick out and you add a new one. And that's basically a lost trade, which you just managed. Let's see, our price is starting to react over here. Let's see. We're starting to stall over here. You see how we're stalling right in this area over here? I don't like that. We're forming these lower lows over here and lower highs. So we're starting to lose some of that momentum. Again, I'm not going to micromanage it. I moved my stop loss up a little bit. This is the 5 minute just flip bearish too. So we'll see how we end up. Are we going to close below this level right here? So right now, the way it's looking, I'm going to cut 50. Because I don't, again, because of that 4 hour. Look at this 4 hour candle right there. Right? With a wick to potentially fill. We're going against that right now. But it's not like we're just going against it blindly. It's because we're in a bullish trend. We got a clean move to the left and we got a 1 hour support. Nice support. But right now we're struggling. You also got to like picture and visualize the way these trades are going to play out. The way this is supposed to play out, and if it's valid, was going to be most of the time, you get a strong bullish 30-minute candle close like this. Next 30-minute candle creates that bottom wick, starts flipping bullish, and starts really passing the high with this volume. You're supposed to get some high volume right now. Right now, we're just kind of ranging on the lower time frames. But we're supposed to create that bottom wick, flip bullish, pass the high of that candle, and then continue right back up. Right? Those were the conditions that we were looking for. And now we're not getting that. We're starting to stall in this area. And this is becoming like a range almost. Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm. I wonder if one of the reasons that we're not seeing as much volume yet is because of Powell's speech coming up at 10.
That could be it. That'll probably affect the Bank of England based on the fact that the Bank of England is looking to increase rates again in March. So they want to see Powell's stance. And this testimony, or not testimony, what is it? I
think it is. It says it's to testify. It's a speech.
Testify. Yeah, testimony, I guess you would call it. Yeah. That is basically like his reappointee as the Fed chair. Like he has to testify in front of Congress for that. So now he's going to be talking about some of his ideas, what's going to be happening. We had the jobs numbers that came out terrible last week, right? So is that going to affect his decision? It may. We got to see.
Would you say that the U.S. economy is like? What's your opinion on where the U.S. economy is right now?
In a massive bubble, and we've been since 2008. So, and even before that, kind of too. But what happened was the government bailed out banks, right? And they also basically employed banks to buy other banks. So the government like meddled in trying to get banks to rescue other banks, right? Like JP Morgan bought, what banks did they buy? They bought a couple banks to like save them, basically. Now, what's happening right now is, and back then when we were bailing these banks out, stuff like that, is we're spending money that we don't have, right? The government is spending money basically on a credit card right now, and they're borrowing it and they're printing it. That's not real, like, and especially with what's going on right now, giving money out to the public, which in a way needs to be done because of the pandemic. People can't go to work. When you're doing that, there's no GDP. There's no true manufacturing where we're exporting goods and making money from other countries, right? Or other companies, stuff like that. It's all just printing money. It's fake. So when you're printing all that money into the market and putting that into circulation, you're going to cause inflation. Now, you have a lot of people as well spending money that they don't have. You saw a lot of people getting stimulus checks and going out to Gucci stores or going to buy a flat screen TV. That's just human nature. That's what majority of the public does, and that's what that's what the government banks on. That's what businesses bank on. Consumerism. They bank on people buying and buying with money that they don't have so that they could be paying the credit cards for the rest of their lives, credit card interest, and get stuck into that cycle. So that's why it's so important to be financially disciplined so that you're not in that cycle and you're constantly saving money so that you can reinvest it and multiply that money. But when you have the government spending money they don't have, when you have people spending money they don't have, we're in a massive bubble right now with the stock market where honestly it should not be up there right now, but it is because we're in a bubble, and the central banks keep feeding money into the economy to keep that thing propped up because you got too many people involved, too many people where the stakes are too high. And if the market crashes, everything's done.
And at what point do we? I mean, obviously, no one knows when. But
I just closed the full thing, by the way.
Nice. Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna ask, what do you think the catalyst, like in the past, like do we know what's been the catalyst for, when this, like, is it just when the government decides that they're gonna stop printing as much money as they do, or is that really the only catalyst? Like, what would happen if the government just decides they're going to keep spending until, like, let's say for argument's sake they were going to do that indefinitely? Like, what would be the catalyst that burst the bubble?
Increasing rates.
Pardon?
Increasing rates. So once they increase rates, like I said, GDP goes down. It's harder to do business. It's harder to start a business. And especially in an environment where we're at, where people don't even want to work or anything like that. That's what's going to pop the bubble, because everything happens for a reason, and every history repeats itself if you don't learn from what happened in the past. So what happened last time in 2007? We were in a great market, 2006, 2007, handing out mortgages to people that should not be having mortgages, to be honest with you. And when that's happening, you're creating an environment where anybody could do anything. Like, you could get money so easily. You could get a mortgage easily. They started lowering those thresholds, I guess you could say, for somebody to get a mortgage. And to be honest with you, they're doing it again. They're not even learning from their past. Like, this is happening again. They're trying to give out mortgages to people, and they try to give it out to different demographics and stuff like that, which I completely get. But at the same time, like, money is money and behavior is behavior, and people are going to spend money the way they do. So what happened was they're giving out bad mortgages to people that can't pay them back. And what happened was they started increasing rates around that time as well. So 2007, 2008, they started increasing rates. They couldn't even do it. I think they tapered or increased rates maybe once or twice. They couldn't even do it once or twice before the whole market just tanked.
Do you guys have because we have like a stress test here in Canada. Do you guys have that in the States for your mortgage market as well?
A stress test? No, that's interesting. What is that?
Like, basically, like in Canada, you have to qualify at a higher rate than the rate you'll actually get for your mortgage. So they have a minimum qualifying rate. Like it changes at different times. I think it might be like 5 point something right now. I'm not too sure, but basically there's a qualifying rate. And what the lenders do is they'll go through all your information, all your financials, and run the deal with that qualifying interest rate, even though you may qualify for something lower, so that in the event that, you know, we do have those hikes, they know that you're actually qualified for, let's say, for example, for a 5% interest rate, but the rate that you'll be getting right now is 2%. So they kind of protect themselves and give them buffer, give themselves some buffer. But I would imagine that's practice probably isn't as popular in the States, I wouldn't think.
It makes sense, that doesn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. Stress test.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, if someone's got a good credit score, they have a good job, stuff like that, then yeah, you got to give them a mortgage. But like, if it's all based on where you come from, or, you know, all these different things, and it doesn't matter what your financial background is, it's not going to end good. You know.
Mm. And I guess one of the things that probably is harder for you guys too is because, I mean, it's great because the real estate in the States is so much cheaper than it, like in certain pockets is so much cheaper than it is in Canada. Like I'll be watching like these real estate shows and stuff, and when I see what you guys can get for the same price that we're paying here, it's like, man, like a lot of people who are living in my area, and it's not a rich, or it's middle class, very middle class area. Like if people were buying houses in the States for the same amount of price that they're buying these houses, they'd be living in mansions. Like,
so like how much could you get like a 4-bedroom house in Canada?
So like for us, so I'll talk
in
about
a decent area.
Yeah. So like where I am right now, let's say, so I just saw a 3-bedroom like last month that went for like 730, and that's not even, we're not even in an area that's like, I'm in like kind of a suburb area. Like I'm not close to Toronto where a lot of people are. Like if you're closer to Toronto, a 4-bedroom, like you're looking at close to over $1 million in some cases.
Okay.
Eat like 900, over 900 for sure right now anyways.
I'm just gonna go to Zillow real quick. So like now, like to be honest with you, I am in a nice area, right? So being in an area like this, the housing prices are going to be ridiculous. So like around here, 3 or 4-bedroom house would be around like 700,000. But like that's a nice area. You're saying that you're more in like a rural area or not so nice area?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a decent area, but it's definitely nowhere. It's not crazy nice, and it's more rural for sure. Like the closest Costco is like 40 minutes away.
Okay. Like this is just a condo, 750 grand. Now condos, typically like a solid one will go for around like 350, 380 right here. But like look at this house. 1.27. I mean, you're right on the water.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, that's like.
But like 1.2, like that for this, this like me growing up around this area, this would be 700 grand when I was younger. Like this is a crazy asking price. 5-bedroom right on the water. I don't know about that. It's just that our area is so well kept, right? It's just like, look at this, right on the beach, right? So I was actually explaining this to Gary the other day, right? Right on the beach over here, you got New York City right here. So people take a 15-20 minute ferry from Atlantic Highlands, and everyone lives. You see this island right here, Rumson? I have a lot of driving clients in this area right here. This is a very nice area. It's just basically all mansions. You see those houses on the right?
Hmm.
So this is where all the Wall Street people live, and they take the ferry into the city, and then they go up to the city, right? So it's a very nice area. You got rivers here where people have their boats. A lot of restaurants on the water over here. The socioeconomic status is pretty high, and then you got a very big Jewish community in Deal, and these are all mansions as well. So it's a good place to have a driving company, but like, look at some of these houses over here. 1.1, 500K, 730, 1.4, 2.45. Like they're pretty high, but again, the area is nice. 4 million. Jesus. What is this? Cedar Ave? Wow, it's a Victorian house. Dude, I love these houses. I don't know if I would live in one, but back in college, friends of mine that were part of some frat, I wasn't in a frat, I played football, but they had a frat house in a Victorian house like this. So like a 12-bedroom old house. They used to throw parties, but wow. And I'm big into history too, so I love this stuff, but
Hey, yo, are you close to Monmouth?
Yeah, I got recruited by Monmouth. They're like 2 minutes away from me.
That's funny. I went to a basketball camp. This was years ago, in like grade 9. I was talking to a scout from Monmouth. So that's funny. I haven't heard them come up for a while, but
wow,
that was interesting.
That's awesome. Yeah, this is it's the hospital. Norwood. Here we go. Can I get like wait, no. Norwood, Cedar Ave. Here we go. This is Monmouth.
Oh, okay.
And then, this is like where I live up here in Long Branch. This is Monmouth.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good area. To have a college like that. But it looks like we're still hovering over here. But again, the 4 hour is going to close in 7 minutes, and it's going to close bearish like this. Like off, guys. Take care. Have a good one, Giovanni. Do you think you already left? Okay, perfect. So this is James's 1 hour idea on UCAD. 4 hour below. If we close below, if we close with support on 4 hour, might look for an intraday swing. Okay. Wait, where's the? Doesn't let me scroll through. Okay, I can see what you're doing. Let's see something real quick. My fucking charts. So we got that support over here that we were talking about the other day, right, James? So the current daily candle is bearish, but we're bouncing off this level. Last time we bounced off this level, multiple things happened. We got nice pushes. Right? So what are the chances we get the same exact thing? Pretty high. So this daily candle doesn't have a top wick yet. Daily candle obviously just opened. Well, actually it didn't just open, but we've been bearish so far. So is this daily candle going to flip bullish? Does it have room to? Maybe. So we're holding support right here. Higher low so far. Let's see if we get that 4 hour close. 1 hour is holding that higher low. We have this area that you just pointed out. Good. How many pips? That's only about 10 pips right there. So you got that bearish trend that we've been respecting over here. Lower lows, lower highs. Now we're holding support. We have a resistance. I have to wait for the retest of the key level. You talking to Gary? So you get that resistance right there. Previous support as well. And this price action is a little messy. Let me see. Yeah, I want like a clean close. Like I like how this candle's closing right now, like a strong 30-minute close. See how it closes. Even if it closes below this level, because it's not the most recent support and resistance, this really is right in here. And we're about to close above it to continue right back up to this level. But the only problem is you only have 10 pips from where you're at now to here. All right, so maybe you place your stop loss below here, being that it's a higher low. I don't really know how this pair moves, so it's, you know, you'd be a better judge than I would. But I think if we hold support here, we could be continuing up. Let's see, since tapping into this trend line, been okay. So this changes things a little bit. Been in this bullish trend. I think safe buys are going to be above this level right here. Safe buys, you get a cleaner and bigger range up to this resistance right here, about 35 pips. Does that make sense? So you get the higher low over here than right here, right? You got this level right over here that you only got about 10 pips in here. So I wouldn't really take that. I'd wait for safer buys right up here, especially because you already took GJ, right? So you took that one trade. This is your second trade. You want to wait for the safer trade on that second trade, being that it's your second, because like your confidence is everything in this game. And once you deviate from your confidence, or once you deviate from your plan and you lose a trade, you lose your confidence like that, right? You could take a couple steps back. A lot of people can, and if you can't control your emotions, that happens often. So like you don't want to be in that position. You want to be able to keep gaining momentum and keep gaining confidence in your trading system by taking smart trades and smart wins, especially in the beginning. So like it's much better to wait for the safe entry and not get it and only take one loss for the day than take two losses for the day, not waiting for that safe thing and knowing that you could have, and that would have been a better trade. You know what I'm saying? But with that, guys, I'm going to head off. I think it was a good session. Great way to manage risk. I think we did pretty well on that. Again, 30-minute is holding support right up here, but you got to keep in mind this 4 hour and the fact that we've been creating these. I'll do this again. Lower highs, lower lows. And now we're about to get a 4 hour close. So what are the chances we end up filling this area right here? Could happen. But again, like I said, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Looking forward to it. I'll upload this and yesterday's session. I wasn't able to do it yesterday, but again, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you later, man.
Thank you. Bye.
Of course. Have a good one, guys.
You too.